Now, live from Seattle, this is Q13 Fox News This Morning.
Well, Microsoft announced some major layoffs this morning. That's what some analysts are saying. I'm Brian Callen, and we'll take a look at the truth, the rumors, and what some employees are saying this morning about all this, coming up in a live report.
The Seattle School District might also be looking at layoffs. We're going to tell you which positions could be cut.
Then a short ferry ride turns into a nightmare for friends of a missing Bellevue woman. We've got new details, plus what investigators are saying about her disappearance.
And this morning, the governor plans to roll out her plan to help get our economy back on track. Hear about her initiative to create new jobs in our state. Good Thursday morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us. I'm Lily Jang.
And I'm Mark Wright. It's Q13 Fox News This Morning. Sometimes no news is good news in terms of weather. We're liking, Perella, the weather that we've had the last few days.
So thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, oh, you're welcome. You're going to like the next several days. Consider it my gift to you, belated for Christmas. It's dry out there. That's the good news. Double Doppler radar showing temperatures a little crisp. We're in the upper 30s, but that's about normal for this time of year. We do have an air stagnation advisory in effect until noon on Saturday, so all the pollutants, they're not able to escape into the atmosphere. They're right here at the surface. So if you have a sensitive respiratory system, it's going to be hard for you to spend extended period of time outdoors. At least it's not advised today or tomorrow, by the way. Temperatures are topping out in the upper 40s, and there will be limited amounts of sun, so that's not too bad. Coming up in a few minutes, we'll talk about your weekend and the next best chance for rain. Right now, though, I have a sneaking suspicion. Adam has a look at traffic.
Yes, I do. And yes, we will. And yes, we can. Northbound on the Valley Freeway, slow from 18 up towards 516. I-5 looks to be in good shape right now. 405 Renton curves to Factoria, moving at 13 miles an hour. I-5 along Mid-Boeing Field to downtown Seattle also. That could be better. 90 seems to be okay across the water. 520 eastbound and westbound. Really a rough go as you get across the 520 floating bridge deck yet. And out of the north, southbound 5 and south 405. Still test your patience right on down towards the Kings-Snohomish County line. And while we're at it, let me show you a DOT camera shot in the north. Yes, fog, I-5 right in through Linwood. You're going to have to sit through this to get to the sunshine, whatever sunshine it is that we see. Mark, Lily, back to you.
Adam, 8:02, our top stories right now. It could be a huge hit to our local economy.
This morning, there are reports that Microsoft will soon announce some major job cuts. Q13 Fox News reporter Brian Callanan live in Redmond with the details on this developing story. What are you hearing, Brian?
Well, the difficult part here, Lily, is really separating the truth from the rumors. You look at some of the bloggers out there, they're saying as many as 15,000 layoffs will be announced today. If you talk to a lot of people who are arriving to work right now, as I have, they're saying massive layoffs like that most likely are not possible, but they do say some layoffs are possible. So somewhere in the middle there, somewhere. What we're talking about here is a lot of different stories, some from the Wall Street Journal, other sources too, reporting Microsoft is considering company layoffs here, though far less than that 15,000 number we're talking about. That number would represent more than 16% of the company's workforce, and most believe Microsoft is in a relatively strong financial position right now. The software giant has $20 billion in cash in reserve, many long-term software contracts still in place, and it's reducing its travel budget and other expenses. But still, tech companies are suffering in our rough economy. Hewlett-Packard and Yahoo, for example, have already announced layoffs. Many workers we've talked to this morning are feeling safe working for Microsoft, but they're still thinking about the possibility of layoffs.
I think it's in the back of everyone's mind, you know, because even though I may personally feel comfortable and stable at this time, you always have people that you're friends with or whatever that you're concerned about.
Well, this talk about possible layoffs comes as the Puget Sound region is already reeling from two major job cuts. As you know, Washington Mutual is laying off 21% of its workforce, including 1,500 layoffs in Seattle alone. And even rock-solid Boeing just announced it's letting 4,500 people go in our state. Now, Microsoft's earnings report is due out next week, so it makes sense financially that we might hear some information about these possible layoffs sometime soon. As we get more information about them, we'll have it on our website, Q13Fox.com, and of course, we'll have the latest tonight on the Q13 Fox News at 9 and 10. Reporting live in Redmond, Brian Callanan, Q13 Fox News.
All right, Brian, thank you very much. 8:04 the time right now. The Seattle School District also probably looking at layoffs to fill its budget gap. The Seattle PI reporting this morning the district could eliminate more than 120 positions in an effort to cut a projected $25 million budget gap. That's on top of plans to close or consolidate some schools. Teachers, library assistants, custodians are among the positions that could be cut.
The snow has melted and the floodwaters are receding, but the problem of making up those school days has just begun. Students in some districts miss more than a week of school because of the weather. Most districts factor in snow days into their schedule, but for some, those days are already used up. The Snoqualmie Valley School District is appealing to the state to waive 3 of the days students missed. The state has already granted waivers for 3 districts and 1 school. State law requires schools to hold 180 days and 1,000 hours of instruction.
This morning, King County officials are watching for flooding along the Green River near Auburn. The river is running high because the Army Corps of Engineers is lowering the reservoir behind the Howard Hansen Dam to check for possible flood damage. But for homeowners who live along the Green River, the increase in water is making them a little nervous.
Since the water goes up across the road from the Green River into Burns Creek, it's probably raised at another 8-10 inches.
Army Corps of Engineers crews discovered a depression at the dam after it held a record pool level last week. The high river flows are expected in Auburn through tomorrow.
This morning, the State Patrol is asking for your help in finding a Bellevue woman who disappeared from a ferry between Seattle and Bainbridge Island. Lynn Stafford Yilmaz bought a one-way ticket on board the ferry Puyallup, then disappeared late Tuesday night. Crews found her purse, her keys, and a cup of coffee on an upper deck. The Coast Guard searched the water by air and by boat, but they found nothing. Her neighbors can't believe this is happening.
Watching the news, and I'm looking at the news, and I'm like, it's Lynn. I'm like, that's Lynn.
It can't be our next door neighbors. It's so close. How can this be?
Stafford Yilmaz is a mother of 2. She teaches English as a second language at Bellevue Community College. And right now, detectives say they don't suspect foul play. They don't believe that anyone else may be involved in her disappearance.
Governor Chris Gregoire plans to unveil her economic stimulus plan today in Seattle. She is calling it the Washington Jobs Now package. The governor will present the state-sponsored economic recovery strategy when she addresses the 37th annual Economic Forecast Conference. At her inauguration last night, Gregoire talked about what her plan will mean for local workers.
We can quickly create thousands of new jobs this year and next by accelerating nearly $1 billion in public works projects.
Republicans in the legislature say they are optimistic about the stimulus package, but they say government alone cannot turn the state's economic problems around.
The Senate will vote today on a request to release the remaining $350 billion of that financial bailout fund. President-elect Barack Obama has asked Congress for the money to expand lending to consumers, small businesses, and municipalities, and to reduce the rising rate of foreclosures.
President Bush will have one last chance to define his presidency in a farewell speech to the nation tonight.
Thank you.
Like past presidents, Bush will express thanks to the country and pride in the honor of serving. He will wish Barack Obama well and also outline what he considers to be the biggest challenges ahead. The president will also spend some time looking back. The speech set for 5 o'clock our time tonight.
Okay.
I'm straight ahead. Find out what Starbucks is asking you to do for President-elect Obama's inauguration and what you're going to get in return if you accept the offer.
Okay, come to your TV and look at this. This is Victor. He's an 18-month-old terrier mix, and he is looking for a loving home. Keep it tuned right here to see how he can be all yours. Hi, Victor. This is Q13 Fox News This Morning. Time right now is 8:11.